What's up, guys? This is Ruben from TGE, and in today's video, I want to discuss about what Anna Coulling didn't show you. Okay, she didn't tell. She showed you about volume price analysis, but she skipped one thing that's important. Okay, really, really important. But let's talk about how to use volume price, like the volume indicator. Okay, I'm not a fan of indicators; they're lagging. I only care about expected move, implied volatility, option premiums, and so on. So volume is one of those things where I make an exception because it'll show me what is happening, right? When it comes to the equity, who's buying, who's selling, this and that, who's participating. And I want to use Nvidia as an example. Okay. So I wrote a whole article. I'm not going to go over the entire thing. If you want to take a look at it, be my guest. But what I want to talk about is this thing right here. The sweeps of the high or low of a high volume candlestick. Okay, let's start out with like how does when you're there's a section here like how do you use Gextron, like how do you do a trade with volume? Because that's it. Like anything we do in TG Max, it's always based on volume. We took a trade for SPX 115%, but we use volume to confirm the entry. Okay, we took a trade on CRM a while ago. Uh, we use volume to confirm it, right? And we use Gextron to help us find key levels. That's it. Find major support and resistance levels, wait for a reaction, and see if volume supports that reaction, right? Um, McDonald's 300%. Like this is all the same thing. The trade is similar. This is the strategy when it comes to short-term trading, whether it's a day trade or a short-term swing trade. Um, let's go over how this works. Okay. So first thing is first. Before we get into a trade, we need to know what is happening in the market, in the option market, what's happening with the major key levels. So we hop on Gextron. Gextron is going to tell us all the key levels that we need to know, all the tall bars. Really simple. Like all the tall bars, whether they're positive or negative here, are strong daily levels. Okay. 120, 115, I'll explain 111 and 110 here in a minute why these are important, even though they're small. I'll explain that in a minute. 105 is a little bit tall, 100, and so on. Okay. After I have those levels, I mark them here. You'll see here the 120, the 115, the 111, the 110, and the 105. Okay, let's start with the small bars. Well, Ruben, you said tall bars, not small bars. Why is 111 important and why is 110 important? The reason they're important here is because in Gextron, it'll tell me here where you see these little dots right here. It says call dominated and put dominated. It tells us here if we are call dominated, it's because we're above P trans level. P trans is 111 because it's the first positive bar, and everything and all the strikes to the right are all positive. That's when positive transition starts for Nvidia. In this case, we are above P trans. You can see here 115 or 111 is P trans, and we are way above it. We're a whole $1.73 above it. N trans is this 110. It's the opposite. It's the first negative bar, and all the lower strikes below it have to be negative, right? So that's N trans. And so we have that label right here, 100. Okay. So now that we know that, I want to analyze. Now that we have the key levels, all you have to know with these key levels is that these are support and resistance levels, and they can flip. Like, if right now 115 is resistance, but if price reclaims it or claims this area, it could become support, and then we go to the next key level, which is 120. Okay, but the question is like, how do you know to enter a trade? How do you know if it's a good support, right? When we're trading inside TG Max, we're not just entering a trade just to enter a trade. We're not like, oh, it hit the level, let's just jump in. Okay. You always want to use, and we always use, volume to support the thesis. Okay. We want to make sure that volume is on our side. It's telling us, yes, participants are in line with what you're trying to do. Okay, if it's not, then you might want to skip that. Okay, so in this case, like let's say we hit 115. It hit 115 here multiple times and it rejected. This is a good area to short if you want to go against the trend, right? Do like a mean reversion trend or trade. But you want to make sure that volume is being supported. So in this case, here's a good example, right? Price is going up, but as price is going up and closer to the area of interest, you see multiple times here that volume is drying up. If we go back to the article here, it'll tell you here that when price is rising with falling volume, right? Price is going up, but volume is going down. It's either a weakness in movement or a fake out. And so you can see here, yes, price was dropping, right? And as soon as it starts to make a reversal around this area, price is picking back up here, right? This area right here. And then it opened all the way to P-trans level. And remember what I said, P-trans is really important because it's the final support, okay? So this morning, if I didn't take a trade on Nvidia, but if I was, we look at Nvidia, we look at price action, we're like, oh, it's all the way at P-trans and it's holding, it's going up. Awesome. Is volume supported? We look at volume. Yes, high volume, high volume. So we can take a trade and try and aim for the next area of interest, which is 115. Okay, that's the target. That's it. And so as the trade is going on, right? As the day goes by, you want to make sure that volume is still supporting this price movement. So if you're trading actively and price is going up, you want to make sure that volume stays strong, that it's not fading out like it did back here, right? This would suck. This would show you this would be red signals, right? This would be some signals to like, hey, I just want to be careful here. Notice how when we hit close to 115, volume is drying up. Okay, really, really important. There's a great example here. As volume is trying to go up, volume is dying, and then as it's breaking down, it's actually picking up volume to the downside. So if you want to short around this area, you could have. Okay, now what did Anna Coulling miss? Right, this is the part that she didn't teach you. Okay, really, really simple. Mitigated swept lows and highs of high volume candlesticks. Okay, let's go to the article here. I think I wrote about it. Where is it? Okay, right here. I said a liquidity sweep happens when price temporarily breaks through a key level, like a high volume candlestick, and then it reverses. It doesn't have to reverse. It can reverse or whatever, but it doesn't always have to reverse. So what do I mean by that? Let's pay attention to this candlestick. Before today's opening, and I'm going to actually replay this. Replay this here. Before this candlestick right here, this was a high volume candlestick. I think we can all agree with that, right? Here, high volume candlestick. Okay, fair enough. Let me see if I did this right. Right here, high volume candlestick. Okay. And also, what happened after? Let's take a look at this. Let's actually reverse it a little bit further back, all the way here. This is a great example. This was also a high volume candlestick. Okay, high volume candlestick, we can agree with that too. Notice how high volume candlestick. Now this candlestick that was next, right? This one right here. It swept that low, right? We can see it right here. Like here's the low of this candlestick. It took out this 113.60 whatever area. Okay. Let me see. Yes. So it took it out, right? What happened next? Let's take a look at it. Go forward. It's holding. It goes up, and when it starts to reject, let's see what happens when we meet below it. Okay, we took it out. Right? It was easier. The question is like, is this candlestick still important? Is this high volume candlestick still important? And inside TGE Max, it's not important. The reason it's not important is because it already got taken out with this candlestick. That means this one is no longer good. It's been mitigated. Okay, it's been taken out. So that's why price was able to just kind of sweep below it with ease right here, right? And this was on Monday morning's open. Now let's pay attention to what happened, because now we're creating new high volume candlesticks, right? This is a high volume candlestick, and this is a high volume candlestick. It's picking up. It's strong. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, this candlestick already took it out, right? This one already took it out. So this is no longer good, and this is no longer good. But this candlestick is weak on volume, okay? It took this out, and it's also weak on volume. Let's see what else happens here. Goes up, and as price is going up, volume is weak. But now it's picking something up. It's picking things back up, right? Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay, so it sliced through it because this area was already taken out by this candlestick right here. So this was easy to open up lower. Now what's happening here? There's another high volume candlestick. So it's not, and also this one got taken out too, right? It got taken out this morning. So this is no longer a important candlestick. This is a high volume candlestick. Okay, so any candlesticks that have been taken out, it's very easy for price to just break through it again because it's not high anymore. It got taken out unless it creates a new high volume candlestick. But in this case, it's weak. This one was weak. Notice how this one was a low volume candlestick, but this one, these candlesticks took out this one. This high candlestick's low, and now, but it's high volume candlesticks. So these are new. There's a lot of volume here. So now if price was to come all the way back down here, right? Notice how there's not a lot of high volume candlesticks. If it breaks below here, then price may come back down all the way to P trends, all the way down to 110. So when you're trading, you just want to make sure that one, volume is supporting the thesis, and then also you want to make sure that like volume, is there any high volume candlesticks that can act as a support or resistance levels too? That way you're not getting bamboozled by it, because sometimes it can hit a liquidity sweep, and like I've said, it can start reversing on you, right? So you're always analyzing key levels. You're always analyzing what volume support levels exist, and can it hurt me to get there? Just because there's a high key level here on Gextron, it doesn't mean it's going to get there, right? Because there's things in the way, like there's volume, there could be a door, there could be things, right? You can get from point A to point B on one side of the room, but you don't know if like, is there a table across from there? Is there a chair? What is there in the way that can stop me from point A to point B? And so volume is what we also use to figure that out. Okay, so it helps you support the thesis of the move, and also helps you figure out what volume high candlesticks are in the way of me getting to that 115 or lower levels. All right, I hope that was helpful. If you want to try out Gextron to get the key levels, or if you want to trade with us inside TGE Max and get these kind of similar results, join. I'll put a couple links in the description box, and that way I can help you out. Cool.